Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the St. Joe Rivers Derby here at Shields Field Stadium. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Caleb Saylor. Joining me, as always, Ken Harkenreiter. Ken, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you. It's great to be here, and third time's a charm, as they say, right? Here we are.
Let's hope, yeah.
Here we are on a Saturday night of a holiday weekend, beautiful weather, and two teams vying for late season playoff positioning, so should be an exciting night.
Yeah, so the race has been on basically since about the midway point of the season. Us, South Bend, and Kings Hammer, all in a tight race for first place. Right now, Kings Hammer are the ones who have taken a hold of first place. You can see they're here on 23 points. Oh, we're playing our video. Hey, hold on there. We're going to pause that, close that. We're going to talk about this guy first. The standings for the Valley Division. So you can see Kings Hammer in first place on 23 points. They're a match ahead. Today, Fort Wayne and South Bend, they're playing each other, obviously, here at Shields Field. South Bend in second, Fort Wayne in third. The winner of this match, it's going to shuffle some things up. So if South Bend wins today, they're going to go ahead of Kings Hammer. If Fort Wayne wins today, we're going to actually go ahead of South Bend. You'll notice South Bend's on 22 points, we're on 19 points. If we win, we'll go on 22. However, they have a superior goal difference, but we would have the head-to-head. So in that case here, we should, if we win, take control of our own destiny. I mean,
And no question, the one who emerges tonight has the upper hand as the season plays out. And everyone's playing the same three opponents as the season winds down in Toledo, Dayton, and Cleveland, down toward the bottom of the table. So, again, great to have your own destiny in your hands. So.
Yeah, but Fort Wayne has a lot to do. We've got to make sure we win out the games, and we've had some troubles here or there, especially with South Bend at home.
The last time out was uninspired, shall we say, and they've rebounded since, played some really good matches. So hopefully that's the part that translates into the 90 minutes on the field tonight.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get the starting 11 out there, huh? See if I can't pull this graphic up. There we go. So the starting 11 for Fort Wayne FC, Ryan Burig in goal. We've got Will Harris on defense, Tom Abramson, Reed Sprout, and Riku Moriyasu finishing out the back line. In the midfield, Alexander Frank and Michael Adedonkun. And then Fort Wayne, this is actually typical of them, playing with four forwards. I believe Beto Anaya is going to play more of a 10 role like he has been the past couple of matches.
Yeah, and they've mixed that up a little bit in terms of the personnel, but you're right. They've been trying to play that attacking position and formation. So hopefully it pays off early in the match, and they can get out in front and get a lead early on and play from there. But yeah, it remains to be seen how that works for us.
So the team's lining up on the other side of the tunnel here. And we were talking about playoff contentions, and I made the note, and Ken laughed at me, but I made the note here. Toledo, who are in fourth place right now on 12 points, they've got 3 matches left. They are mathematically out of the playoffs. So they can only get a maximum of 21 points. And the second place team, South Bend, currently sitting on 22. But I did mention, if some funny business happens, who knows where that funny business is going to happen, but it's a possibility that they somehow end up on 21 points and they somehow make it into the tournament. Although I think there are other teams throughout the Central Conference that are better positioned, more points per game than Toledo this year.
Yeah, we'll see how that sorts out as well. But again, I should think if everything holds, the top 3 are the ones that are going to vie for the 2 playoff positions that'll come out of the Valley Division here. So teams getting themselves lined up here, ready to make the walkthrough.
What a fan! You know, that man is dressed for the weather. What What are we calling this? Hair bra? Hair top?
I'm gonna refrain from any input whatsoever on this one.
You know what, Ken? You're a smart guy, and it's kind of toasty out there and kind of humid. So I guess dress for the weather, correct? I mean, I guess that maybe is the logic there.
1,000 miles from the nearest beach, but whatever floats your boat.
Sending you up, so I know that.
And I hear myself in the headphones.
So I am still on Corwin. I'm going to go over to Will. I'm on Will now. Okay, I'm going to go to Jake pretty soon. I'm on Jake now. I'm on Jake.
And the people watching out in what I like to call 11 Sports Land, you can correct me if I'm wrong if you're a South Bend fan, but I believe South Bend took a little bit of a blow in the last match, lost their starting goalkeeper for the year last time out against Fort Wayne. So new starting goalkeeper, although Finn Popescu, I know, has been up to the task so far this season in the matches that he's played. So regardless, whether it's the first choice goalkeeper or the second choice goalkeeper, when it's your time, it's time to step up, and Popescu has done so far this year.
Ladies and gentlemen,
but so proudly we the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the pear for the ramparts we walk. So gallantly stream, and the rockets red glare in air gave proof that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of
And as always, thank you to our match live stream sponsors, ProFed Credit Union, Fort Wayne Newspapers, and Baden, Gage & Schroeder CPA and Business Consultants. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors for making sure that our match day experience goes off without a hitch.
Sure do appreciate that sponsorship, and allows us to get the broadcast out here to folks who aren't able to join us here at Shields Field. Looking like we have some Finn fans weighing in here. Ryan sending out Finn we trust.
In Finn we trust. We got a nice crowd here at Shields Field tonight. Definitely expecting it. You know, Fort Wayne FC, the only ticket in town tonight. 10 caps are away. 4th of July weekend. Gas price is so high, not a lot of people traveling. So maybe some first-time soccer fans out there. Definitely seeing some familiar faces, but I think we got the word out pretty well that this is a very important match for both teams, but especially Fort Wayne FC if they want to control their own destiny.
Yeah, again, great place to be on a Saturday night, and weather cooperating, not too hot, no rain in the forecast, so everything should go according to Hoyle here tonight, and hopefully Fort Wayne FC roster can put together the elements they need on the field to come away with this big important win tonight.
So we're underway here at Shields Field Stadium. South Bend in the yellow kits working left to right on your screen. Fort Wayne in the blue kits working right to left. South Bend wasting no time trying to get up into the attack, but Fort Wayne able to thwart that. It's going to be a throw-in here early on, and Tom Abramson not messing about with the South Bend players there. Put a stiff challenge into the South Bend player to make sure he knows he's there, and I think Abramson's going to be one of the keys.
I was
Fort
thinking
Wayne
that
tonight.
earlier in the pregame, Caleb, that Abramson has had a couple of really nice matches earlier in the season, and as he played, so came the results in favor of Fort Wayne. So I agree with you. I think it's going to be a key piece.
And admittedly, I'm not watching many of the other teams outside of the Valley Division, but I would be hard-pressed to find a better outside back than Tom Abramson. He's done fantastic so far this year.
And again, not afraid to get up into the attack as well, which really adds that extra element of surprise and adding to our numerical advantage up in the front.
Fort Wayne pinning South Bend back deep in the attacking third. The clearance falls to Moriyasu. Fort Wayne are back in possession. And here in the early minutes, South Bend not doing a whole lot of pressing. That was one of the things that really gave them the victory over Fort Wayne in the last St. Joe Rivers derby, is that they were very disciplined in defense. So we'll see if they'll be able to stay just as disciplined tonight.
In addition, really balanced in their attack. 6 or 7 different players really adding to the goals and assists throughout the course of the season here this year. And so never quite sure. You know, it's not like you can really double down and focus on 1 or 2 attackers. They're coming at you from several different of those attacking positions, so tough to nail them down.
Here's Edodonkun on the ball. Edodonkun come back to receive it, just trying to make something happen here. Just a little tug from Noding, and Moriyasu misplaces the pass here in South Bend, trying to break the other way. And I apologize in advance to South Bend fans. We only have the one South Bend roster between the two of us. Our printer was on the Fritz earlier today, so we had to handwrite a roster. Actually, Ken, you know what? I got a photo of it on my phone, so we'll look at the phone here for the South Bend roster. But for those of you watching out there, please let us know where you're watching from. We always like to see where our fans and maybe the opponent's fans are tuning in from.
So the younger generation snaps a photo on his phone. The old guy gets the handwritten copy in large print, no less.
I would just like to note that I was the one who hand wrote this, not for Ken, but for my eyes. But I was kind enough to let Ken have that one since I have the photo. Fort Wayne high pressing here. Claudel putting Popescu under pressure, and he clears his lines. It's going to be a throw-in for Fort Wayne here in the opening minutes. Lynch not able to hold the ball up. Brennan Creek under pressure from Lynch. Referee says foul against Lynch, and it's free kick for South Bend. They play it quickly. Breaking out of the attack, a long ball over top. Trying to find, I believe, I believed that was number 17, but I don't see a 17 on the roster. I think that was Kanan Dos Santos on the left side who wasn't able to, yes, number 11 for South Bend, wasn't able to keep that ball in bounds. Ball falls to Dos Santos. Abramson does really well to see off the attack. Just shield Dos Santos. It's a goal kick for Fort Wayne. Harris trying to find Adedonkun over the top. Oliveira wins the first ball well for South Bend. The referee says a foul against Riley Lynch. And so far in the opening 6 minutes here, referee keeping things tidy. We know we had issues with that in the last match against South Bend. Really neither team's fault. Foul against Claudel. Just a slow play down here. And Fort Wayne might want to be careful here because we're only in the 7th minute. Ball over the top. Dos Santos trying to lay it off to his teammate, not able to do so, but South Bend comes away with it anyway. Here's Noting. Flick from Tanner doesn't come off for South Bend. Moriyasu does well to shrug off the tackle. Here's Lynch. Beto Anaya, good pass out to Nkosi Graham. Graham driving into the box. The shot. Well over the top.
Just a little bit too far underneath that ball, lifting up and over the crossbar. Out of danger.
Here's Claudel. Trying to play it out to Lynch. I was going to say a few minutes ago, Fort Wayne will do well to just keep the fouls to a minimum because they've already had 3 here in the opening 8 minutes. Have to imagine 1 or 2 more, a referee's going to end up pulling out the yellow, and you don't want to be on a yellow card so early on in the match.
Yeah, it's a fine line, a fine balance, Caleb, to try and establish your territory, so to speak, and let those guys know you're here to play without crossing that line. Again, as you say, a lot of time ahead to be playing on a warning. So
Claudel flick on. Can't really find anybody. Anaya putting Popescu under pressure here. Clearance falls to Graham. Here's Adedonkun. Shot. Deflected, but falls to Claudel. Frank puts it on frame, but directs it right to the goalkeeper. No problem for Popescu there. Plays it quickly. Here's Creek. Long switch. Trying to find Oliveira. Not able to do so. A throw in for Fort Wayne. Good little slip from Moriyasu to Frank. Frank trying to find the switch. South Bend gets to that second ball first. Foul against Fort Wayne here. Abramson and Sprout does well to clear their lines, but it falls to a South Bend player. Here's Creek. Moriyasu does well to step in front of the pass, but as does Conchilla. Switch out to Noting. He had a strong overlapping run there, but elected to play it to Tanner, and Tanner trying to find that through ball, but nothing doing. Ball rolls into Burek, and I think it was the first time Burek has held the ball in his hands in the opening 10 minutes, 12 minutes, which is a good thing. Frank undercut by Noting there. Frank lands hard on the turf. It's going to be a free kick for Fort Wayne. Frank holding his lower back there, but seems to be okay. Talked about it time and again. That turf may look soft, but when you land on it, it does not feel good.
Nothing like a ball played right to your foot moving forward to heal all those ailments, though.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they played away. He perked right up as the ball was headed his way, and they decided otherwise. But thankfully, Alex Frank is back up and around and ready to roll.
Here's the ball at his feet.
Showing no signs of serious back pain.
What happened? I don't know. You wouldn't be able to tell. Popped right back up.
No magic spray involved.
Our guys are tough at this level. Throw in for South Bend. Donkun does well to keep that ball away from South Bend.
Both teams being pretty meticulous and cautious in their attack thus far, trying to work the ball with short combination play as opposed to getting too stretched out. Again, no matter who's in possession, both teams pretty well balanced across the field as well as front to back. Oh.
Foul against Frank there. Vernon Creek slow to get up for South Bend, but looks to be okay. Conchilla standing over the ball, likes to play it short to Noting. South Bend slowly but surely working their way down into the attacking third here.
And committing quite a few men forward as well in the attack. 7, sometimes 8 players within the 30 yards of the goal. So again, a full commitment to the attacking mentality here. And thus far unable to really thread that last. There's another example, just that last touch before going to goal. Not quite on, but not for lack of trying.
Throw in for Fort Wayne. They're not out of immediate danger just yet. Ball bouncing around. Lynch does well to win the second ball. Here's Adedonkun, plays it back to Lynch. Trying to slip Claudel through, but...
Yeah, Lynch didn't have a whole lot to work with there as far as space, but he did a really nice job of amending his body shape to get a nice touch on the ball, but again, not much of a lane to pass it and play into.
Abramson.
Oh, Abramson, nice
Tripped up.
run forward, going at speed.
Besides the foul, South Bend did well to stop Abramson because he was, as we like to say, he was on his horse. He was breaking real hard.
I'm a little surprised that didn't warrant at least a little talking to, because that thwarted a pretty good attack, and that's usually the thing that gets the attention of the man in the middle.
So Abramson and Anaya standing over the ball here. Ball delivered in, back post. Harris trying to put it back in. Claudel trying to go for the spectacular, but it so often seems the case when that happens. Falling flat on his back, but...
You know what? Like every 8-year-old across America, in his mind he had a beautiful bicycle finish. In reality, the ball was elsewhere.
Nice couple of flicks from South Bend there, but ball played to nobody, and it's going to be a throw-in for Fort Wayne. Harrison Sproat playing it back and forth. The long ball from Sproat to nobody is going to roll back to Popescu.
Seem to have a number for nobody on my roster, Caleb.
It might be the morning shift, Ken, but it took me a second to get there. Here's Lynch on the ball. South Bend doing well to get numbers back.
Yeah, for a fleeting second there, I thought Fort Wayne had a nice opportunity to attack, and Lynch kind of pulled it back and slowed down, and that gave South Bend just that amount of time to get back and close down defensively, and that was the end. Again, neither team seems to want to stretch too far into the attack too quickly for fear of allowing too much open in the back. There's a long ball from South Bend to no avail.
Foul against the South Bend player, Brennan Creek.
Let's play. Back up, yeah. Yeah, we're fine. Hey, there we go, Brennan. We play. We play. It's good. Hey, no talk.
Fortunately, Moriasi was able to stay on his feet with that shove, because what also doesn't feel good is falling face first on the track. Speaking from experience.
Yeah, I'm haven't checked my statistics, but I'm pretty certain the track wins most of those confrontations.
Graham back to Adodonkun. Just a slight tug from the South Bend player, just enough to slow Adodonkun down. And Abramson just starting to creep up into that tackle a little bit more.
Well, again, I mentioned a few minutes ago, Caleb, both teams maintaining a really disciplined shape overall, both attacking and defending, not allowing the other side a whole lot to work with. As you can see, Fort Wayne now settling back into a nice defensive shape.
Olivier able to bring that ball down. Can't quite see who that is up there with him. George Herbert gives the ball away for South Bend, and here's Adodonkun able to evade two defenders. Fouled by the third, and the referee's reaching for his pocket, it looks like. And it's a yellow card for Brennan Creek of South Bend. And that's one of those fouls that you just kind of take. Your player beats 2-3 guys and starts to get into space, and you got to do something to slow him down. And it's not in a dangerous position. But
Similar to what we saw earlier with the Abramson, right? That was shaping up into a nice attack. A couple of defenders already taken out of the play, and again, less for the violence of the foul than it is the tactic of the foul of taking him down as he got through. So, as you say, probably one of those you just take the yellow card and move on.
Here's Abramson driving in. Popescu handles it well. And I just saw the replay of the foul, and as soon as it happened, I think Creek knew that he was going to get a yellow.
Not much argument. In fact, it was funny. I was going to mention he was quite extensive argument with the AR just a moment ago on the side over here, and there was none of that. As you say, immediate recognition, just took his yellow and went on about his business. So
long ball over top, trying to find Claudel, nothing doing. believe that was a foul called against Fort Wayne there. I didn't see the AR on the far sideline raise his flag. So, however, I was looking down. So very well could have missed it. Second ball from Abramson. Awkwardly goes back to Burig. Burig happy to have it in his hands with Noting breathing down his neck. Tim Noting and Brennan Creek for South Bend. Just pressing high, putting the Fort Wayne defenders under a little bit of pressure there. Sproat lets that ball roll out of bounds. It's going to be a throw-in for South Bend. Referee says play on, no foul there. South Bend retains possession.
Yeah, surprisingly so. That, albeit
Herbert.
they did retain possession, but I'm wondering about the interpretation of advantage. Seems like that restart there would have been more advantageous to South Bend, but he let it roll, and here we continue to play. South Bend still in possession.
Noting Herbert offsides for South Bend. Yeah, it was one of those situations where it looked a little bit worse than what happened because I think Beto Anaya was starting to fall down as Alex Frank bodied up against the South Bend player. But either way, we play on here at Shields Field Stadium. 26th minute. Still goalless.
Neither team with really any dangerous opportunities as well. Again, they're very meticulous in their attack here and not playing those final balls through. Neither team really, again, willing to commit to that final ball through. A lot of play in the midfield.
Naya trying to play it over top. Or excuse me, that was Nkosi Graham. Trying to play it over top. Referee says play on. Clean tackle from Edadonkun there.
Yeah, came right through the ball, so
Anaya
tend to agree with that.
Anaya trying to find Graham in there, and it's going to be a throw-in for Fort Wayne.
Just because there's physical contact does not necessarily indicate it's been a foul.
Anaya out to Abramson.
Too many yellow shirts.
South Bend on the break here. Creek trying to get on the end of that, and it just rolls out off a Fort Wayne player.
Let the current incarnation of noisemakers begin. Our first hot rod down Clinton for the evening.
Well, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if the neighbors across the street don't start lighting off fireworks.
Yeah, now would be the weekend, wouldn't it?
Now would be the weekend, although the meteorologist in me discourages that because we've been so dry.
So dry.
I mean, I can
indeed.
see the grass over there is brown, so hopefully if you're lighting off fireworks, you make some smart decisions. Here's Lynch on the ball. Frank plays it one time, back out to him. Lynch trying to play it one time to Claudel, and Claudel not able to get on the end of it. I don't know if it's Claudel's handling of the ball or he's just been a bit unfortunate, but it seems like he's not able to. Or I guess we should add in, or the South Bend defense pressing him well. It just seems like Claudel hasn't been able to get on the end of it clean here.
Yeah, just that last lead-in touch going into goal has been elusive to both sides thus far tonight.
Here's Anaya out to Frank. Adedonkun doing well to come back to receive that ball. He's done that several times tonight, trying to get things going, coming back and trying to connect the defense and the attack. Here's Adedonkun on the ball again. Slips in Lynch. Lynch touches it past the goalkeeper, and it's a goal for Fort Wayne. Puts Fort Wayne up 1-0 in the 29th minute. Very good finish by Lynch. Make sure that first touch doesn't get away from him there.
You know, that's
Fort Wayne
almost
able to capitalize.
almost entirely on Riley Lynch there. He did a really nice job of creating a little space away from his defender as the ball was being delivered. Nice, quick, sharp turn immediately toward goal. And just a classic finish into the far post.
Credit to Adedonkun as well. This attack kind of started with him receiving that ball from the defense and turning and playing, and he was the one, I believe, that slipped in Lynch. But Lynch needed to make sure that the job was finished, and finish it he did. And Fort Wayne's now up in the 30th minute, 1-0 over rivals South Bend. Adedonkun trying to slip in Claudel. And I'm going to say this over the microphone, but really I'm talking to my statistician. I don't believe South Bend has had a shot so far this first half. She shakes her head no. So while maybe possession one team hasn't dominated, Fort Wayne has had more opportunities so far this match. Here's Moriyasu. Foul against Tanner there, and it's a free kick for Fort Wayne. And I will say about that goal, Ken, a right-footed shot to the back post is not an easy thing to get past the goalkeeper. Usually you're looking to just bend that to the back post a little bit, so Lynch did very well to make sure it got on frame.
Well, and it didn't really have much of an angle as well. I mean, he was quite a ways on that right side, and yeah, he really slotted it nicely. That was well done, well taken from Riley Lynch. Adds to his season-leading scoring for Fort Wayne FC with his 5th goal, if my stats are correct, his 5th goal of the season.
Foul against Fort Wayne. Noting and Sproat battling for that ball. Sproat wins out, and it's going to be a goal kick for Fort Wayne. Kosi Graham loses out on the ball. And I'm not sure if it was the players communicating or Coach Avery or one of the other coaches communicating, but it appears as if Lynch and Kosi Graham have actually swapped sides. So we know that Lynch was on the right side when he scored, but they're not switching back now, and I'm wondering if maybe the players or the coach is recognizing a little bit better matchup for Lynch over there on that right side.
Not sure what was behind the thought process there, but easily handled in the South Bend goal. And
That's one of those where if you're not paying attention for a split second, it could easily not be handled
yeah,
very well. So Popescu did
Touche.
well to make sure he was on it. Naya not able to retain possession. Tim noting, just telling George Herbert to relax a little bit. Here's Herbert on the ball. Good poke from Frank. The tackle from Abramson. I think the initial foul was actually on Abramson and not Frank. It's going to be a free kick in a very dangerous position. There wasn't much in that foul from Frank, but nonetheless. So I believe this is Noting standing over the ball. The shot's away, and Burig not able to keep it out of the back of the net. Noting puts it in for South Bend to make things level here at Shields Field Stadium in the 36th minute. A well-taken free kick by Tim Noting. And you know, Ken, I didn't want to say it because I didn't want the commentator's curse to come into effect. But I was going to say South Bend would need to do very well to beat big, tall Ryan Burig, but Noting did just that.
well, and we had similar thoughts with different comment because seeing Noting lining that up, we both know him to be a very dangerous attacker, and he is second in goals for South Bend this season. That's his fourth tally of the season, but really well taken. Really well taken. That's fortunate for Fort Wayne to give that equalizer back so quickly.
So a foul against South Bend in a dangerous position here. We had to shut our windows here in the press box. The yellow smoke was just starting to roll in here a little bit from the South Bend fans.
Obnoxious, not only in smell, the yellow smoke,
But in
coming
color,
from the
but in
South
color
Bend
as well,
fans.
exactly. So Abramson and Anaya standing over this free kick. And we've seen Abramson put him in from
I
this
was going to
distance
say
before.
Abramson, like Noting, certainly capable of hitting a ball that, albeit that it's a bit further out, certainly capable of hitting this ball and beating the keeper.
Puts it on frame. Just wide.
Not a bad effort whatsoever.
It's going to be a goal kick for South Bend.
Yeah, you know, it felt, Caleb, shortly after the Fort Wayne goal, looked like we were establishing a little bit of momentum. It's just a shame. Give that equalizer away so quickly. Let them right back in this game. See if we can't capitalize before the halftime whistle and recapture some of that momentum going into the locker rooms.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Avery will be too happy about giving that goal up at such an inopportune time.
Although it does beg the question, exactly when the opportune time to give away a goal, isn't it?
Maybe in the first minute when you've got 89 more of them to go and try to claw back. Here's Adedonkun. Able to get past Oliveira, but not the second time. Here's Conchilla. Referee says nothing doing, and Adedonkun wins the ball off of him. The cross. Put just too much on that, and it's going to be a throw-in for South Bend. And honestly, the pace on that cross, I'm not sure it was a cross, Ken. I think it might have been a shot.
I'm not going to take liberties to speculate what his intention was. Yes, it was clearly, if we were to ask him right now, it was a cross.
But if it goes in.
If it goes in, it was clearly a shot.
Exactly.
Indeed. Had something of a Scud missile directional about that shot, if it was indeed a shot. Not sure that's the statistic Hannah keeps, but shots leading to throw-in for the opposition is not necessarily a statistic most forwards would want to.
Yeah, I don't think the league asks for those that stat specifically. So a throw-in for Fort Wayne here in the 41st minute. Things are square at 1. Oriasu finds himself in a bit of space. Cross delivered in. It's a good cross, but unfortunately nobody was there. It was in a dangerous position, but Lynch was trailing just a bit too much. Referee was giving Anaya the advantage on the first one, but second foul he calls, and it's a free kick for Fort Wayne. Claudel tripped up by Josh Ramsey. Little by little, Fort Wayne making their way into the attacking third. Quick ball played out to Anaya. Anaya trying to keep the goalkeeper off the crossbar. Comes to Fort Wayne. That was very dangerous. Dangerous opportunity. Just a little bit unlucky for Anaya. But Fort Wayne come up with a corner kick off of that play. Abramson standing over it. Cross delivered in. And the header right to Popescu. Uric elects to lump it forward. And the keeper was out, and it's going to roll just wide from Adedonkun. Burek did very well to just lump that ball forward, and South Bend players trying to get in the way of Adedonkun without fouling him. But Adedonkun not able to put it on frame. Very lucky for South Bend there. And here they are committing numbers forward, headed the other way. Ball delivered in. Oliveira flicks it over his head. Here's Noting, finds himself in front of frame, and Burek does very well to keep that ball out of the back of the net.
Very nicely played. Yep. A couple of great opportunities at both ends here in the final minutes. Pace picked up considerably as both teams trying to grab a little bit of extra energy and momentum as they go in for halftime here. Having a feeling on replay we're going to see Buring really making a great play on that. That was a great opportunity for Tim Noting.
Adadonku not able to get on the end of it the first time, but steps in front of the South Bend player. Referee says no foul, and it's a throw-in for South Bend here in the 45th minute. And that's a good battle between Adadonku and I believe Daniel Nimick from South Bend. Oliviera is going to be taking the throw. Just gesturing to his players to move a little bit. Graham steps in front of it. It's going to be a goal kick for South Bend. And 2 minutes of stoppage time here at Shields Field Stadium. That feels about right. Not too many long stoppages here in the first half.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. No injuries of any kind for either side. Well, thoroughly played first 45 minutes here from both sides.
So a throw in for South Bend. Naya trying to slip Adadonku in, not able to do so. Here's Tanner on the ball. Out to Oliviera. Nimick's long ball. Trying to find Dos Santos, not able to do so. Fort Wayne slowing things down just a little bit here. Threaded pass from Harris finds Adadonku. Lynch wins the second ball. Fakes the shot, puts it on his left foot. Popescu saves it. Not able to grab it cleanly, but Fort Wayne not following up on the shot there. Here's Claudel trying to find Anaya. It's going to be a throw in the last seconds here at Shields Field. Referee just took a peek at his watch. Abramson looking like he's going to take a long throw here. Popescu does well to collect the ball. And that's halftime here at Shields Field Stadium. Fort Wayne FC won. South Bend won. A pair of very nice goals from both teams here. Make sure to stay tuned for our halftime show. Ken and I will talk about the first half and hopefully have some highlights for you here. Sponsored by ProFed. Once again, Fort Wayne FC won. South Bend won. Stay tuned for the ProFed halftime. Welcome back to Shields Field Stadium. Fort Wayne FC and South Bend tied at 1. This is your Pro-Fed halftime show. Ken and I hopefully will be able to break down the highlights for you here. First chance for Fort Wayne FC. Beto Anaya doing well to put the South Bend goalkeeper Popescu under pressure, and the clearance only goes as far as Nkosi Graham. Shot a little lame from Frank there.
A little bit, but again, both teams started the first 15, 20, 25 minutes playing really solid defense. Neither side really having much in the way of good scoring chances.
Fort Wayne not able to break through on that chance either. They took a couple opportunities to try to get through, and eventually they do in the 29th minute when Adedonkun slips the ball through. And watching it a second and third time, Lynch actually beats Popescu near side just a little bit, but still, regardless, a great finish by Lynch.
Well, and again, I think the play there is Lynch creating that space, a little bit of distance from his defender, giving him that opportunity to go to goal.
And then South Bend, they're going to respond immediately. The foul here, I believe by Abramson, was the first foul that the referee gave. And Tim Noting from South Bend able to beat Burig at his near post. Well taken goal for South Bend to square things up at 1. And then South Bend, they're going to get another opportunity late in the first half. I believe it's Noting once again. Tries to chip the ball into Oliveira and follows it up with a shot that's just under his feet, but Burig does well to keep it out of the back of the net.
And again, from such close range, again, I mentioned when that actually happened, Burig really comes up big on that save. Very little time or space to react, but he got the job done.
We're back here at Shields Field Stadium, second half, getting ready to get underway.
South Bend line, number 20, Michael Andrew.
So I just heard our public address announcer say there was one substitute for South Bend, although my hearing through these headphones aren't that great. I'm not entirely sure who it is, but we'll figure it out here. I think it's Michael Andrew. It's the player is on, and our statistician tells us that the player off is George Herbert. So attacking option for attacking option, and in the last match, Michael Andrew was certainly a dangerous option for South Bend. So an early corner from Fort Wayne, and Abramson not able to connect with a Fort Wayne player here, but they come up with it anyway. Here's Anaya. Back out to Abramson. Cross. Claudel does well to battle for that ball. And
early indications, and as we've started this second half here, Fort Wayne getting the better touches, and hopefully we can hit pay dirt here.
So another corner by Abramson, finding the head of South Bend player. And South Bend, they've got numbers. Nkosi Graham does very well just to see off the attack, giving Fort Wayne the opportunity to get back in defense in a very precarious spot. Here's Andrew Oliveira slips Andrew in the cross just out of the reach of Burig, and South Bend able to slot it home here early in the second half, putting South Bend up 2-1. Here at Shields Field Stadium, a defensive effort by Tom Abramson slips through his legs. Dos Santos for South Bend able to slip it through. And early in the second half, South Bend able to put Fort Wayne on the back foot. And you can see how Abramson's standing, his body language. He is not happy with his personal defensive effort.
That ball just out of the grasp of Ryan Buring. And again, as you mentioned, a little less than snug defending on that backside. Easily slotted into the open net. Kind of a discouraging result here for Fort Wayne in the first couple of minutes here in the second half. Plenty of time to get back in it, but again, momentum weighing large.
Here's Lynch driving in. Claudel able to keep it in bounds. Trying to put Nimick off his footing there, not able to do so. Nimick does well to stand Claudel up, and Fort Wayne forced to play it back.
You know, Caleb, it is the third incarnation of this St. Joe Derby, as you call it, and it is quite astounding how evenly matched these two teams are. You no sooner think.
Aberson cross-delivered in. Adedonku not able to put it in the back of the net. Oliviera does well to stand in front of the shooter. High kick from Andrew.
No sooner think someone's getting the advantage and the momentum in their direction, and just as quickly the other side responds. So here we are in a 2-1 deficit.
And looking at who in the top three have left in terms of opponents, Ken, it's hard for me to believe that if Fort Wayne drops points again tonight, that they're going to make it into that second place slot.
Yeah, really going to be difficult to make up points. Unfortunately, if the scheduling gods were in our favor, Kings Hammer and South Bend would meet each other one more time and sort of eliminate one or the other, but not so.
So the opportunity there, just wide from South Bend.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Dayton's still winless on the season? Is that?
They have one win. I believe they beat Cleveland. But just the one win, I believe. Let's see here, math. If they've played 10 matches so far, 1 win, 6 losses, 3 draws. So,
but again, less the number of points than it is the ability to make up a differential in points. So again, I agree. If
foul against South Bend.
We can't reach out and grab these 3 points tonight. It's going to be really difficult.
Yeah, and those opponents for South Bend, they're at Cleveland on July 6th, taking on Toledo on July 9th at home, and then facing Dayton on the 16th at home. And Kings Hammer have Dayton twice in their remaining 3 matches. Dayton on the 7th, Cleveland on the 10th, and Dayton on the 15th. So if somewhere in there South Bend and Cleveland drop some points and we win out, it's possible we get into a top 2 spot, but I don't see too many points being dropped there for South Bend or Kings Hammer.
Never say never, but again, odds are very much in favor of them coming away with all those points against Dayton and Cleveland.
Tanner comes away with the ball. Referee plays
That's-
advantage the first time, and that's an easy one to call. Alex Frank getting a little bit frustrated there, kicks out at the South Bend player, first foul and second foul. And it's a yellow card for Frank. Frank probably would have escaped without a yellow card if it had just been the first one, but clear and obvious kick puts him in the books. So the long ball over top. Trying to find Dos Santos. Aberson does well to shield Dos Santos off. Flick to Claudel.
Nice little flick. Not a whole lot to work with, Claudel. I've seen a couple of instances now the Fort Wayne players getting a little frustrated.
Well, I can't exactly blame him because Joshua Ramsey had his elbow in Claudel's face. So I can't exactly blame Claudel for being upset. And the assistant on the touchline, I mean, it was right in front of him. What are you seeing there? If it's literally 2 yards in front of you and an elbow to the face, how is that not the foul? Here we are getting into questionable calls once again
Rhetorical questions
against
to be
South
sure.
Bend. Kosi Graham on the break here. And Collins Tanner going to receive a yellow card. Graham gets his heel stepped on there. And that certainly doesn't feel great. And I think the referee needs to start tidying things up here a little bit, or we're going to start seeing things going the same way the second match did.
Yeah, and that was unfortunate. Again, the first 45 here tonight played really thoroughly and cleanly by both sides. A couple of nice goals. Hate to see it deteriorate into a couple of nasty incidents on both sides here tonight.
And I just saw the highlight of the Claudel foul against him, and I still don't get how the assistant referee doesn't see the elbow in the face and calls the foul against Claudel there. Regardless, Fort Wayne have work to do, and South Bend doing well in the opening 10 minutes to play some stout defense, if not a little bit rough. Another foul against South Bend. Riley Lynch able to slip past his defender, Claudel. Not able to settle it.
Unfortunate. Couldn't get a better first touch on that one. Really played into a dangerous spot.
And the tackle from Claudel going to receive a yellow card here. And I think Coach Avery might want to start looking at some of his bench players there, because that's the second foul Claudel this half. I believe the fourth or fifth this match, and just receiving a yellow card. He might do well to get a fresh pair of legs in there to hopefully keep things a little bit more level-headed.
Well, and you mentioned Caleb trying to tidy some things up here from the man in the center, and he's issued quite a few yellow cards on both sides. However, if you watch his technique, he really isn't demanding the attention and getting the attention of the players. In several cases, holding the yellow card up, and it's not even necessarily clear to whom that card is being shown. And I think he could step up and take a little more firm control of this, lest we end up with 30 minutes of chaos. And some of these fouls are of the nature of potentially causing some harm. Nkosi Graham, we saw him go down hard on the sideline just a moment ago, and hate to see players sustain a season-ending injury at this point as the playoffs loom.
And not only that, a lot of these players are going to be headed into their college season as well, and you certainly don't want them injured for that either, although I think right now the players on the pitch are more concerned about the result in front of them. Offsides by Claudel, trying to sneak in backside there. Frank not able to find Anaya. Conchila just plays it back to Nimick, resetting things. Shouts of handball from a couple people in the stands here, but nothing doing. Foul against Beto Anaya. Gives South Bend another free kick in a dangerous position. Noting delivers back post. Bjerg does well to just punch it away, but only as far as the South Bend players. Here's Creek. Noting back on the ball. The cross delivered in low. And it goes wide. Moriyasu able to clear his lines. It's going to be a corner kick, I believe, for South Bend. Said his name a lot tonight. Tim Noting seemingly everywhere for South Bend, making a lot happen for the Lions.
Really dangerous attacking player for sure. Does a nice job receiving that ball, turning and taking the goal line before sending a very dangerous ball right into the goal mouth.
Creek just pressured to play the ball out. It's going to be a throw-in for Fort Wayne. Collins Tanner just a little bit clumsily running into Frank. Referee telling him just to calm down a little bit.
Bill, are we smooth on here? Because it looks like we're glitching a little bit, and I don't know at what step that's coming at.
So the long ball evades the touch of two Fort Wayne players, but Frank trying to send it back in.
Fort Wayne with plenty of players forward in the attack, but to my mind, not a whole lot of activity and movement around and off the ball to create any real openings. So that ball lobbed over the top really didn't stand much of a chance. South Bend banked in, defending well.
Adedonkun does well to poke the ball away from Noting and delivers a nice ball out to Abramson, but not able to find Claudel. Foul against Adedonkun there. Just getting a little touch on Andrew. Just enough for a foul.
Like he hooked his leg just enough to take him off balance.
Sproat does well to make sure Dos Santos not able to make his way forward. Claudel doing well to press Popescu just to force him to make a decision. And still pressing here. Popescu done well there to make sure that
Really
ball
well.
didn't bobble over his foot.
Really well done. Right in front of his goal with some pressure coming.
That's not the pass you want to receive as a goalkeeper right into your goal
Nah,
mouth, especially on turf when it starts to get bobbling. Sproat elects to play it back to Burig. Trying to stretch that South Bend defense. Come up with it. Referee says play on. Naya does well to evade two South Bend players. Harris over the top. Ramsey did well to clear his line there. Here's Oliveira. Ramsey trying to play out of the back there. He's forced to play it back to Nimick. Ramsey, long ball. Andrew, referee says is onside. The layoff to Noting. Burig does well to keep the ball out of the back of the net. That was a good dummy by Dos Santos, and Fort Wayne trying to break the other way. Nkosi Graham is in the box. And Nimick does very well to put the tackle in on Graham. South Bend players not happy with the call from the AR. And that's a yellow card delivered to Duvan Conchila. It was a great defensive effort by Nimick there. So the referee signaling for a substitution here. A player we don't have a jersey. Yeah, we do. Found it. Connor Duggan is on for Collins Tanner. So Dugan is on. Tanner is off.
So the South Bend players agreeing with your assessment earlier of the AR's inability to see things right in front of him.
Which one is that? Far-sighted, nearsighted, Ken? One of the two. Ball
Not
in.
sure I agree. Not sure Nicosi Graham did anything wrong on that, but the South Bend players certainly felt they.
Well, I think they were shouting for an offsides against Graham. And obviously from our position, I'm not sure if he was or not. But either way, South Bend players not happy about it. Nimick did very well for the Lions to put out the fire there.
Bit unfortunate for Claudel there. Had just a bit of an opportunity and got tangled up with the ball.
Referee saying play on there. Good battle between Sproat and Dos Santos. And I would say neither of those two were a foul. We're just getting some hard tackles and some hard bodying against the South Bend and Fort Wayne players. Fort Wayne's going to need to start pressing. We've only got about 20 minutes left here at Shields Field, and they haven't had really much in terms of the attacking opportunities here in the second half. Dos Santos doing well to link up and retain possession. Here's Creek out to Andrew. Andrew trying to throw Moriyasu off, not able to do so. Creek finds the late player, Jonathan Mora. Mora trying to deliver it into Andrew, but Moriyasu able to put his head on it. And Oliveira kicks it out for a goal kick. We've got looks like we're going to have a triple substitution for Fort Wayne here. And if you're South Bend, I would imagine Max Amawako is not the player you want to see here in the last 20 minutes against a team that has made you run for 70. Foul against Adedonkun.
Forrester Ajago causing some turmoil and trouble of his own for opposing teams throughout the season. So Coach Avery pulling out all the stops.
And I stand corrected here. It's actually a foul against South Bend. So the substitutions, Gini Kenyane is on, Riku Moriyasu is off, Max Amawako is on, Nicosi Graham is off, and Forster Ajago will be on. Victor Claudel is off.
So all five of the leading scorers for the season on the field now for Fort Wayne FC. Again,
Kenyane standing over the free kick here, delivered into a dangerous spot. It's a goal kick for South Bend. Wayne trying to make things happen quickly here.
not sure it's absolute, Caleb, that it's a do or die situation here, but these final 20 minutes certainly have a little bit of that urgency about it, right? If we go down and give away the 3 points tonight, really, really difficult to claw our way back into that playoff spot.
And I don't know about you, Ken, but I'm certainly feeling that way, that we've got a little bit added pressure with these last 20 minutes here.
That last run of substitutions, Coach Avery perhaps coming to that same conclusion, needing to put some extra firepower in there.
Here's Dos Santos, a shot blocked by Abramson.
Certainly not ideal. Ideal, we want the full 3 points, but at the very least, a draw gives us a point. We take away a point and stay somewhat in the race.
In striking distance, that's certainly so. And just to note, Riley Lynch looks like he's playing the number 9 here, or at least has drifted off to the right side here to put Amawako on his favored left. And the referee saying no foul. A throw in for South Bend.
Now, say what you will, Caleb, about the competency of the AR over here on this near sideline. I'm not going to enter into that discussion, but he certainly is animated in his exchanges with the players on the field, which is
He's not backing down.
certainly not something I'm a fan of. Keep your professional distance and do your job and be a little more stoic about it. I'm just, again, not a fan of the lively exchanges.
Yeah, and really,
And that's
the only
from
person,
players on both sides,
exactly.
not just
Really, the only person who needs to be explaining themselves in that type of situation might be the center ref, who often, out of courtesy, will explain why they gave a foul, not necessarily out of necessity. So the AR certainly doesn't need to give an explanation.
Well, I'm not, obviously, I can't hear what the conversations are, but based on his body language and his gestures, I'm not even sure that's what he's trying to accomplish, is explaining. It's more engaging directly in argument sort of conversation with the players on the field about the calls he's made. So, again, I'll leave it alone from here, but he certainly has spent a lot of energy here tonight in those conversations when perhaps unnecessarily.
So if you're just joining us here on the live stream, Fort Wayne FC went up 1-0 in the 30th minute, but South Bend equalized pretty quickly in the 36th and then took the lead in the 46th minute in the second half. So Fort Wayne's been down most of the second half here. Here's South Bend on the break again. Here's Dugan. Dos Santos puts the shot backside, and Vurig just parries it away. And Kenyane does well to keep his composure to retain possession for Fort Wayne. Here's Amawako.
Dos Santos showing why he is the leading scorer for South Bend this season with 6 goals. Placed that very nicely, took every inch of Ryan Vurig to make that save and keep it out of that far corner. But, I've seen a tendency throughout the evening, that backside fairly loosely covered by the Fort Wayne defensive backs and leading to quite a few good opportunities for the South Bend Lions.
And really that responsibility to organize that backside falls on the goalkeeper. You want to communicate as much as you can to your defensive line, especially your outside backs, to make sure they're not missing that man coming in late. And whether it's Vurig not communicating it or the defense not paying attention to it.
Yeah, they've had an awful lot of open space to work with, and again, we've seen what can happen when that's the case.
So the shot by Dugan, comfortably saved by Vurig. Here's Harris at the halfway line. Slip from Amawako. A foul against South Bend there. Just sticking a little leg out to stop Kanyane. It's a free kick in the attacking third. Naya and Kanyane waved off of it. Looks like it's going to be delivered in by Abramson.
Will Harris, always a dangerous figure in there, and see if he can't get a head on it. Nope, didn't quite make it all the way to that back post.
Nimick did well to get the first head on it for South Bend, just allowing Popescu to come up and collect the ball.
Oh, unlucky there. Abramson read that perfectly and just couldn't quite bring it in.
And South Bend coach not happy with the goalkeeper and his distribution there. I think that's the second or third time this evening Popescu has had poor distribution. Referee says no foul. Play on for Fort Wayne here. Kanyane trying to connect with the Jago over top, and just a bit too much.
Just a little off. Unfortunate.
And I've talked about this before. I know Forster Jago can run. He's a quick man, but he's also a big presence, and I think Fort Wayne would do well to just try to play him into his feet and hold up play like a traditional number 9.
And there's been very little of that here tonight.
Individual that has lost their ID and credit card.
Edodonkun doesn't have a lot of support, but is able to play the ball out to Amawako.
Nice little flurry there.
Here's out to Lynch, the goal scorer for Fort Wayne. Cross delivered in. It comes off a South Bend player. But somehow the referees call it a goal kick. To give the refs the benefit of the doubt on this one. Looks like it could have gone either way, but from my perspective, all the way, we'll call it 100 yards away. Sure looked like it came off a South Bend player, but nevertheless, a goal kick here in the 80th minute at Shields Field.
Yeah, it seems Riley Lynch has sort of disappeared from the Fort Wayne attack. That's the first time now he's touching it again, but first time they've had it out and onto his foot in quite a while.
The Jago trying to let that ball run just a little bit, but Ramsey able to clear it, and it's going to be a corner kick for Fort Wayne. Looks like Kanyane is going to deliver an in-swinger here. We've got a Jago standing on the goalkeeper.
Extracurricular activity going on already there.
Cross delivered in. The shot and a goal from Michael Edodonkun. Makes things square here at Shields Field Stadium.
Lots of bodies in there, lots of motion. Ball delivered. Nice little flick header into that absolute last fraction of the back post. Well-designed corner kick play from Fort Wayne FC.
And things are all square here at Shields Field thanks to the head of Michael Edodonkun. He's been the man all over the pitch tonight for Fort Wayne and is able to put him ahead, or put him square, excuse me.
You know, some credit to Forrester Ajago as well for being a presence and an annoyance to Popescu there in the goal. But thankfully, and I was concerned about this, you talk about the commentator curse, Caleb, but I'm pleased to see that he backed off as the ball was delivered, because oftentimes that's an easy whistle for the official if you're impeding the goalkeeper's ability to play a ball. But he backed off and allowed that ball to be
flicks
played.
it on. Here's Amawako. trying to lay it off, but referee says the ball runs out of bounds. It's a goal kick for South Bend. And you can just sense a little bit more energy in this Fort Wayne side, not just with the substitutions, but the goal giving them just that little extra oomph to get things going here in the last 10 minutes at Shields Field. Oh, and I just saw the highlight again. A wonderful ball in delivered by Kanyane, and Adedonkun does everything right. Solid head to it, connects with it perfectly, puts it to the back post, and brings Fort Wayne FC level. With about 7 minutes left in regular time. Here's Andrew for South Bend. Oliveira. Cross delivered in. The goal kick, Fort Wayne. And there was a substitute for South Bend in that mix. I believe it was Jonathan Mora who came off and Daniel Lynch on for South Bend. Is that Adedonkun? Not a whole lot of help. Likes to go to the corner of the cross. I think a little hopeful there from Adedonkun. So a free kick for South Bend here in the dying minutes. Ramsey trying to find Noding. Here's Kanyane. Anaya turns and finds Adedonkun. He's got Abramson on the break. Jago, he's in. He passed the goalkeeper. But a bad touch puts it wide. And Jago was on a screaming run there. He honestly should have taken that ball around the goalkeeper, but elected to put it on his left foot. Unfortunately, put that shot wide. And that was the perfect opportunity for Fort Wayne to go ahead.
Great opportunity. I was just about to say, these final minutes.
Here's South Bend. Dugan battling for that ball. Sproat and Abramson doing well to just throw him off a little bit there.
Yeah, these final minutes are the very opportunity for someone to rise up and meet the occasion, carry their team forward. Jago with a golden opportunity to do just that. Looking at the replay, I agree, Caleb. I think he might have been able to just get a nice, gentle touch behind the keeper and then in onto that open net.
Here's Adedonkun.
Easier for us to see in hindsight.
Certainly, yeah.
Than in live time, but nonetheless. Lovely ball through to Jago.
So South Bend player Tim Noting is down. I think he's just having a bit of a muscle cramp situation here. And he's been everywhere on the pitch tonight for South Bend. He's been our Adedonkun. And I just caught that highlight again, Ken. Jago started about 7 yards behind, or I should say in front of, that South Bend line on the 50-yard line here at the halfway line, and was able to make a 30-yard run and get on the end of that ball.
It was lovely. Lovely ball, lovely timing, lovely run.
So throw in for South Bend here. Spro able to maintain possession. The ball from Harris, a little questionable, but Fort Wayne ends up with it. Adedonkun does well to turn and find Kanyane on the opposite side. Kanyane finds the feet of Lynch. Here's Adedonkun.
Lovely little flick from Lynch. Fortunately, broken up by the South Bend defenders.
Yeah, and this is the third or fourth time here in the last 10 minutes Fort Wayne have tried to play it out wide on the right side, and they're just playing short. I think they need to play it with a little bit more pace because Adedonkun and Abramson, they're able to get on the end of it with their speed, even though they were so late in the match. Lynch trying to find a Jago, not able to do so. Fort Wayne has committed numbers forward here, and good ball in.
This is not going to end well for Will Harris.
And
it is not going to end well for Will Harris.
His night's over here at Shields Field, and if I'm being honest, Ken, I'm not entirely sure. I'm a little bit on the fence about this because Harris was clearly beaten, and Burig was a bit in no man's land. So it's that question of do you make the foul or do you not make the foul?
Yeah.
And of course with that red card, that means Harris is going to miss the next match as well on Tuesday here at home against Toledo. So Fort Wayne down to 10 men.
Dangerous opportunity. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves either. A really dangerous chance on a restart here. Pretty much right dead center. No, it's unfortunate. Will Harris, as you say, just about a step out of stride. Beautiful ball delivered just outside his reach. Maybe had one opportunity very early on to put himself in the way, but.
And I'm wondering if Dos Santos is actually going to take this shot or if he's going to lay it off. Maybe to Noting, who's in a more favorable position, not in front of that wall.
6 minutes of stoppage time.
The referee just announced 6 minutes of stoppage time. The shot into the wall the second time. And Fort Wayne have time to make something happen. 6 minutes of stoppage here at Shields Field Stadium. We've got a substitution. Dos Santos coming off. And Shiraishi for South Bend is coming on. And with 6 minutes of added time, Ken, I'm not sure. With your man down, you've got a point. Do you go for the goal, or do you try to absorb as much pressure as you can?
Yeah, I'm trying to dissect the substitution just now from South Bend. Dos Santos, not only this evening, but on the season, their most dangerous attacking player. And unless there's something I wasn't aware of, he didn't appear to be favoring anything physically. It would seem to me with that man advantage, you leave him on the pitch. But
Either way, he put in a good shift for South Bend tonight. Fort Wayne aren't laying back. The throw in from Abramson finds Adedonkun. He doesn't have a lot of help up there. The ball out. It's played to South Bend, and they're coming the other way. Dugan's all alone, and Kenyane have two men backside to try to deal with. Great tackle by Kenyane.
You know, so long as you don't get stretched too far forward and leave yourself short in the back, not a bad plan to have the ball 80 or 90 yards from your goal as you're trying to run out the final few moments.
Creek trying to play a ball through off the Fort Wayne player, and it's a throw in. Here's Noting. Cross delivered in, backside. Here's Shiraishi, the shot. Burrig collects comfortably.
And again, something we've mentioned a couple of times, Caleb, that backside, awful lot of time and space for him to take a preparation touch, and I'm thinking he would love to have a redo on that final touch, but nonetheless, Fort Wayne giving a lot away on that back post.
So the ball from Kenyane, just out of touch of Adedonkun, but it's going to be a throw-in for Fort Wayne here. We've got about 2 minutes left here at Shields Field. Fort Wayne committing numbers forward. And Fort Wayne, their players need to move because they've got a lot of detachment here from the defenders and the forwards, committing a lot of numbers up. Here's Emawako out to Adedonkun. The shot.
Oh.
Well over the crossbar. It's a goal kick.
Beats two
for South
defenders
Bend.
really nicely and set himself up, put himself in a really nice position, but then couldn't get that finishing touch. Keep it under control under the crossbar. Unfortunate.
South Bend coming the other way. Here's Andrew. Cross delivered in to Shiraishi, but Sprout able to win the ball. A touch from Emawako finds the feet of Ajago, but Ajago not able to retain possession, although he comes up with it here. Good fight for the ball. Adedonkun plays Ajago back. And the cross blocked by Daniel Nimick. And Ajago does well to shield the South Bend players off. And
Never say never, Mr. Caleb Saylor.
this is the last minute. We're in the 95th minute here at Shields Field. 96th minute. We've got about 50 seconds left. And everybody except Anaya and Burrig committed forward. Cross delivered in. Falls to Abramson. Out to Emawako. Here's Anaya. The shot deflected, and it's going to be another corner for Fort Wayne. We've got Burrig up now. Fort Wayne's going for it. Big Burrig is up. And the referee just talking.
Yeah,
I
you'll
believe
remember.
it's Ramsey and Ajago.
You'll remember on that last corner kick where we scored the equalizer. Ajago was really active just before the ball was delivered, and
Fort Wayne using a good strategy to crowd the goalkeeper. Ball delivered in. It's dangerous.
just can't get the touch on that ball.
And that's it here at Shields Field Stadium. An exciting match.
A great flurry in the final minute or two.
And the referees being crowded by the South Bend players. A yellow card delivered And the assistant referee here from the near side, the one we've mentioned before, a bit more animated than we'd like.
Well, and there's been quite a bit of that all throughout the course of the match tonight, but I'm not sure what prompted this most recent incident, but several of the South Bend players.
Starts with respect. First of all, Warriors.
A red card delivered to Daniel Nimick at the end here.
Timely reminder from PA announcer Greg Boughton on sportsmanship.
Please protect the game.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure what, like you said, what prompted this at the end here.
And having a bit more